Now, I shouldn't be happy about this, right? Because this is bad news. And we've reported on a lot of this kind of stuff on the podcast over especially the last 10 episodes of the show. We've got another closure, guys. Sad. Sad all round. But is it, though? But is it? No, it's not. Do you know why? Because it's First Contact Entertainment. You may be thinking to yourself, Davey, they sound familiar. And why are you kind of happy about this? They're the guys that developed Firewall Ultra. Firewall Ultra... get in the fucking bin. I've ranted about it enough. It's a game that I bought full price on PSVR 2 earlier this year, and I was robbed. Lurian, I blame you for that. You turned around to me and said, Davey, are you going to get it? It looks really good. It looks really good. And do you know what? I was suckered in, and I just thought, yeah, I'm going to buy it. Fucking hate this game. I hate it. I actually hate it. They closed down. Right, now, here's what they've said, okay? So this is verbatim from their Twitter. After almost 8 years of working with the most amazing team I've ever had the pleasure of being part of, I'm sad to announce that we will be closing our company, First Contact Entertainment, by the end of the year. The lack of support for VR within the industry has eventually taken its toll. As a AAA VR game developer, we are just not able to justify the expense needed gouging forward. They meant going forward. Could have quality controlled that. We are a team of fearless innovators willing to push new technologies to its limits. I'm extremely proud of the team and grateful to our investors, our partners, and of course our community of dedicated and passionate players. It's been a wild ride. Thank you. Right, now before I get you guys' thoughts on this, fuck off, First Contact Entertainment. What are you on about in this? This is by far the worst post I've ever seen for people getting laid off because it's full of bullshit. Total bullshit. Right? Lack of support for VR within the industry has eventually taken its toll. This was published by Sony, so you were paid by Sony for this game. It's just that nobody bought your fucking game because it didn't fucking release. It released broken. You couldn't play it for fucking months. And they're like, oh, lack of support for VR within the industry. You didn't even use any fucking VR shit in this game. They're like innovators within it. You can't even reload your gun. You just press X to do it. Can't open a door. You go up and press R2. What do? They made it so you aim where a grenade goes with your eyes. That's all they added to the VR mix. A system that nobody wanted. And they're innovators. Fuck off, man. I'm glad you're gone. This is the first time I'm ever going to... I'm going to be harsh for this. I'm glad they're gone. They literally are a waste of the VR landscape. They make VR look bad. If I put somebody in that game for the first time, they're not going to be like, wow, VR's the future. They'll be like, fuck VR. And I just think, fuck them. They pissed me off enough. I'm glad they're gone. Harsh. Should done better. Should done better. Spence, any thoughts on this?
You know what? you were extremely harsh, but I actually completely agree with you. The only annoying thing is we did buy this game.
Yeah.
And the thing is, it was released as games are nowadays, broken, but with the promise of being fixed. They can't even fix it now.
No.
The game is just eternally fucked. And they're like, we're so proud of our innovative team. Proud of what, fam? You did nothing. Like, literally, like you said, can't reload, can't open doors. You throw grenades with your eyes. I couldn't believe that was a mechanic. The only good thing they did, the best thing they've ever come up with, is if someone throws a flash grenade, if you close your eyes, the effects are lessened.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
That was great.
Brilliant. They put that amount of thought into, ready, crazy one, reloading your gun. What? Brilliant game. Oh, and if the matchmaking worked.
Yeah.
Brilliant game. Which entirely online game, by the way, no campaign. If the matchmaking worked, yeah, it might be good.
Works
Doesn't.
now.
It does now.
No one's there.
No one's there, because guess what? It took too long. Yeah, tell you what, I hope you have a great time over at Media Molecule. It's like, get gone, man. I completely agree with you. As harsh as it is, and we've had a lot of closures and a lot of people getting sacked, this one, yes, kind of deserved.
It's deserved.
Yeah.
100% deserved. Like, if you ain't putting out the goods, get out the fucking game.
Yeah.
And VR, you've got the best chance to come out with a big swinging dick by doing something original, something with high production value, gets a lot of eyes on it in the VR world. And even though it's a lot smaller of a landscape, people will talk about it and it will become really, people will really fucking champion it. if you come out with a lazy ass fucking game that does barely anything VR led, what do you expect?
Yeah.
And that's it. Phil, have I been too harsh on this, or have me and Spence been too harsh? Because I think we're pretty joined up on this.
Well, I haven't really got a lot to go off on this game because I haven't played it. Surprise, surprise. I'm not the biggest VR guy or a VR guy at all. I don't own any VR headsets as much as I love tech and I surround myself with tech. So the only thing I can go off when it comes to Firewall is kind of your viewpoint. But ultimately, I'm saddened that another studio has gone, and I'm saddened that a AAA, if I'm to believe this blog post, now they put a lot of effort into this. Obviously, they've spelled a few things wrong, but you said the quality of the game was pretty poor, so they probably spent as much time developing the game as they did writing this blog post or this post on Twitter. But they say they're a AAA VR game developer. Now, how many AAA VR games are there? That's the question. Because I can only really think of one, and that one hasn't come to PlayStation just yet. Otherwise, I might have a VR headset.
Would you class Capcom?
Yeah. Yeah, they are AAA games.
Yeah, because, the games that can't be mentioned, 4 and 8.
And 7.
And 7.
Yeah.
Gran Turismo.
Yeah, AAA. I would call them
Right.
out in AAA.
Yeah, call them out in.
So what are we saying? A handful? Handful of games?
I'd call Saints and Sinners AAA. I'd call Arizona Sunshine AAA.
There's more now than there ever has been, I would say.
Okay. Even on a PlayStation podcast, we are kind of struggling for names here. You could name 4 or 5 there, and a lot of them obviously are main games on the PlayStation, and then they're converted for VR. But more solely VR games, we are struggling there, aren't we? So it does sadden me to the point that they class themselves as a AAA VR games developer, and maybe that idea is there within the studio. Maybe it's not fully realized, as you've said in previous shows, that Firewall really didn't hit those highs, and you've got a lot of complaints to it. But they wanted to be that, and them closing, that saddens me for the future of VR. It really does, because as much as I don't have a VR headset, I am excited about VR. I'm always interested in the news that comes out, but for me, it's just never reached where I need it to be to buy one. So them closing, I feel is another knockback, really, because they wanted to be that AAA VR games development studio. And who's to say they wouldn't have achieved that in a few years, maybe their next game. Maybe if it isn't Firewall, maybe their next game that come out, maybe that would have been the AAA VR game that would have brought me into the ecosystem. So for that reason, that saddens me slightly.
Would you say that this is the Mary Jane of game companies?
No, because Mary Jane don't miss, mate. Mary Jane don't miss. So the Mary Jane of game companies would be someone like Rockstar, Insomniac.
Yeah, busted.
Yeah, they're busted, right? Yeah. They're cracked. No, this isn't. This is the equivalent of Shocker, if we're bringing it to Spider-Man level.
No, it's the goon, mate. It's the random goon.
Oh, yeah, not even a main
It's that
villain.
random goon who goes, I'm going to be the one to take down Spider-Man. And then he's just webbed upside down outside a shop.
Yeah. I never realised, I never understood really why goons aren't like they are in the Batman games.
Where they shit themselves.
Where they're the last one, they're like, nah.
Yeah,
they're like kind of what they're walking towards the door when you break their leg, right? Like the goon Spider-Man's so happy to fight him, and he is so beyond them.
Yeah,
it's unbelievable. Like, if I saw a guy dodge an AK bullet, guns down. Sorry, mate. Just web me up. Like, I'm done. Like, my fist ain't faster than a bullet.
No.
You know, as much as I might think I'm alpha, I ain't AK. This ain't AK hands.
I'd suck him off.
He wouldn't let you.
He might not.
He'd give you those different webs.
That's fine. But I'd be like, mate, whatever you want. Yeah, it's fine. Please, don't hit me.
Yeah. Unbelievable. So no, not quite that, Lewis.
But on a serious question, with that game closing down, is there any like proper first-person competitive games on PlayStation VR like left, or is there anything like to look forward to?
So there was basically, whilst this game was being released, there was a direct competitor, which was Crossfire Sierra Squad. We haven't actually tried that out yet.
Heard it's amazing though.
It's supposed to be really good, and that was kind of this game's big competitor. Firewall's obviously fallen short. I don't think they even wrote this post, by the way. I think someone else wrote it for them.
Probably.
But it's this, we have the zombie games, Arizona Sunshine, this,
Pavlov.
Saints and Sinners. Pavlov is on PSVR 2. Pavlov is brilliant. It's basically
Excellent.
CSGO or Counter-Strike. It's phenomenal. Really fucking fun with proximity chat. So you could sneak up behind your enemy, pull their mag out of their gun and go, hey. And then they'll turn around and try to shoot you. Nothing comes out and you just stab them in the face. It's brilliant. Absolutely amazing. So this game being gone, honestly, you could act it out.
There's no fly support. There's no pulling down the fly.
No.
Reading the
You
box.
can stick your mouth on their barrel.
You could do that.
Yeah, real. But it's this game being gone, honestly, as we're not missing any game experiences, we're just missing 30 quid.
Yeah.
That is all it is. Which, to be fair, devastating. But it's fair enough. It's fine.
It is what it is. Yeah. So sorry for all the people that lost your jobs, but in this case, you should have done better.
Oh, I will say, actually, I do have one point to make. I
Go on.
did see a post the other day of a studio who were developing a game for the Quest with the ambitions. This was before PSVR 2 was announced. With the ambitions of bringing it to PSVR 2, expecting it to be a more successful system. And when it was released, they still had that goal in mind, but the optics just weren't there. So instead, they've switched it to a PC game
Oh, wow.
to just play. They changed it to test the game so that they could test it without having to remove the headset and everything all the time. And then it turned out just fun to play like that. So they've scrapped the VR entirely.
Wow.
It was developed as a VR game with the hopes of PSVR 2, and it just wasn't there. So this does kind of have a bit of weight to it with the PSVR 2 not being as big as it needed to be.
I think the big thing when it comes to any VR, and this is always the case, it's never going to replace traditional gaming.
No, it's
It never will. It's a luxury product that is there for people to have a unique experience. And that is always where it will live because it is effort. In the summer, I didn't pick up my PSVR 2 because it is hot. It is hot. Having a big thing on the front of your face, now is the perfect time to play it. In the winter, the spring, the autumn, fine. Summer, no fucking chance. So you've got like 4 months out of the year that you cannot play this thing because it is just torture to be in. But every time I put it on, I remember why I adore it so much.
Yeah.
And you cannot get the experiences that you can get. You can't get the experience that it provides anywhere else. There is going to be something there for it, but it will always be a niche. It will never be the mainstream. And as soon as they realize that, which I think most VR developers do, you set your expectations and your budget accordingly. And that's just how you manage a project like you do any other project. It's first contact here, pulling at straws to try and find a way to justify why their game didn't sell when they didn't do enough.
yeah.
And that's the bottom line, as far as I'm concerned.
Mate, well said for one. Two, I think all we have these fantastic experiences with VR, such as, what was that game that won those awards where it's literally you play it with your eyes?
Is it Before Your Eyes? I think that's what it was called.
Before Your Eyes. Thank you, Lewis.
Before your eyes. Nice one, Lewis.
Thank you, Lewis. Yeah, Before Your Eyes. I think those are the experiences we need for VR. But other than that, AAA developers make a game and then give it a VR port. I don't think we need AAA VR games. And then VR players, if they really want to, they'll just wait till the VR edition's out and play it that way. That way you're guaranteeing your sales, you're guaranteeing your game works well, and it's going to do well, and you can focus as much as you want on the VR version because you have that time because you've made your money. Kind of like Capcom have done with the games we can't mention. They are brilliant ports.
And GT.
Yeah, and GT, phenomenal. More of those. That's
Yeah.
what we need, just more of those. We don't need to rush games to VR. Make it a good game first, and then give us that option for luxury after.